Christmas gift to overburdened Kenyans. President Uhuru Kenyatta has announced a reduction in the cost of electricity in a bid to make life more bearable. The power cost will now be 30% cheaper thanks to interventions announced by President Uhuru Kenyatta during his Jamhuri Day speech at the Uhuru Gardens. Power consumers will immediately save 3 shillings per unit from the current rate and ultimately save 7 shillings per unit when a further reduction is implemented by the end of March next year. Our senior political affairs reporter Jeff Kirui with that report.
Kenyans will see a significant drop in the cost of electricity after President Uhuru Kenyatta in his last Jamhuri Day address directed 30% reduction to be implemented in 2 phases beginning this month of December.
I am pleased to announce to the nation that the reduction of the cost of electricity will be implemented in 2 tranches of 15% each, with the first 15% achieved through initial actions focusing on system and commercial losses, and this will be reflected in people's bills in December of this year.
In the new plan, cost per unit will drop from current 24 shillings per unit to 20 shillings and 40 cents per unit. The 15% reduction saving consumers at least 3 shillings per unit. A further reduction by 15% expected to be implemented by end of March next year will further reduce the cost to 16 shillings per unit. The reduction in consumer tariffs is part of the recommendations by a 15-member presidential task force constituted to review the cost of electricity in the country to spur industrial growth.
And indeed, Vision 2063 must be a bold imagination of what Kenya will be at 100 years. The solemn duty of framing how this vision looks is the task of our generation.
The task force established that the high cost of electricity was as a result of Kenya Power's involvement in the expensive and non-competitive power purchase deals with independent power producers. Kenya Power on average buys a unit of power at 9 shillings, but is eventually billed to the domestic consumer at 25 shillings per unit. The task force led by John Gumi, the current chairman of the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation, proposed that Kenya Power takes the lead in formulation and related power purchase agreement, procurement of the least cost power development plan, and carry out due diligence and contract management frameworks for power purchase agreement, procurement and monitoring.
I note that the Ministry of Energy and other government departments have initiated engagement with independent power producers aimed at renegotiation of power purchase agreements so as to give our country better value for money for our consumers. I urge the power producers to demonstrate goodwill as we seek to make our energy sector a greater catalyst of our national development.
The announcement is good news to Kenyans, most of whom have lamented that the high cost of electricity was to blame for the rise in the cost of living. Jeff Kirui, KTN News.
Right, and still on those celebrations, the 58th Jamhuri Day also saw the trooping of the colors by the 19th Battalion of the Kenya Rifles.